Joshua Tree Boutique in Princeton. Rhonda Stone, owner, would like to say thank you to all who have supported her business in past years and invites you to stop in and see her beautiful selection of quality clothing. You'll love the unique styles and colors. They also carry a great selection of beautiful jewelry as well. Whether you're shopping for yourself or a gift, you're sure to find something just perfect. The Joshua Tree Boutique, located at 110 East Court Street in beautiful, historic downtown Princeton, Kentucky. A truly unique boutique.
It's time for your SportsEdge.com Sideline Report with Todd Griffin. Talking sports and more here on 1580, 103.3 WPKY and worldwide at WPKYonline.com. Here's your host, Todd Griffin.
Good morning, everyone. A busy show coming up on the Sideline Report today. We've got Aaron Clayton, who is the voice of the Lyon County Lions for WCCK Radio and also works at WCBL Radio on the show this morning. Roy Gene Rogers, the Caldwell County Special Olympics basketball coach, will also be joining us a little bit later on, so a whole lot to talk to. And first of all, I want to welcome in my buddy Aaron to the show. Aaron, welcome to the Sideline Report.
Thank you so much, Todd. I greatly appreciate being on the show. I know we were trying to get on here about a month or so ago, but it is an honor, and I'm glad that you wanted me to take a few minutes to join you this morning and talk what we love to do. I talk about most, that's usually high school sports around Region 2.
Well, we've got a whole lot to talk about today. If you'll hang on, we've got to take a break right now, but we'll come back and talk more sports here on the Sideline Report right after this.
What does your morning sound like?
Goodbye, baby.
She's finally asleep.
Hi, welcome to McDonald's.
Can I get a sausage, egg, and cheese McGriddles?
Here's to making your morning routine a little better with a delicious breakfast from McDonald's.
Come to McDonald's for breakfast and enjoy 2 savory bacon, egg, and cheese biscuits for just $4. Price and participation may vary. For a limited time, cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Rader Auction Company is owned and operated by Delbert Rader. Delbert has been in the agricultural field for over 40 years and is well known for his knowledge of used equipment. Rader Auction holds 4 consignment auctions a year, and they buy and sell equipment on a daily basis. If you're looking for a piece of equipment, they'll do their best to locate it, and financing is available. Contact Delbert Rader at 270-881-2610 or Amy Ezel at 270-604-2880 for all your used equipment needs. Rader Auction Company, Skyline Drive.
Have you received superior customer service? Is there a local business that makes your life easier? Then nominate them for Best of Western Kentucky. Nominations underway now. Go to the bottom of our homepage at WPKYonline.com.
Back on the Sideline Report on a Thursday morning at 1580, 103.3 WPKY. This is Todd Griffin of YourSportsEdge.com, and joined this morning on the phone by Aaron Clayton, who is the voice of the Lyon County Lions. And Aaron, a lot of ways to go this morning, a lot of things to talk about, but I guess first of all, a big game coming up later this week for your Lyon County Lions.
Absolutely. I would love to have had both my teams in the semifinal round of the All-A tournament. The Lady Lions, unfortunately, their offensive woes came around at the ugliest of times on Monday night in a battle with Dawson Springs. They had beaten Dawson Springs in their last 13 consecutive games dating back to 2012, had won in the All-A tournament against Dawson Springs in 2003. Pretty much it's the last time Dawson won the title back in 02 and 03. But it was just not meant to be. Only scored 8 points in the second half, only 2 points in the fourth quarter. Therefore, we fell late to Dawson 29-27. But my spirits were picked back up Tuesday night when the Lions hosted Crittenden County. And as you know, Todd, it's always tough to beat a team 3 times. We have beaten Crittenden County twice in the regular season and already got through our District 5 slate, beating Crittenden County at Crittenden County without Gabe Board, our senior point guard, by 25 in Marion in the early part of December, as we shot 65% from the field that night, went on to win 75-50, then came back right after the new year and had about a week or so off, looked kind of rusty, but held on late to win 62-49 at home. So I knew it was going to be tough. It was going to be hard to battle against the big guys of Turley. And then, of course, they got a slew of great guards in Sawyer Towery, Gabe Mott, Hunter Boone, Gavin Dickerson. But luckily on Tuesday night, we got Preston Turley in foul trouble early, and we were able to really work it inside a lot. Our big guys, Jackson Shoulders 15 points, 15 rebounds. Just a freshman. Senior Gabe DeFew really stepped up, and starting here recently, he got 12 points, 12 boards, and of course Gabe Board only getting better with that knee injury. He was gone in that Crittenden game till the end of the year with a strained meniscus, came back only 2 weeks earlier than doctors even expected, and he's really starting to get back in the groove at 17 points, 8 assists the other night for Lyon County in the win against Crittenden County. And then Travis Perry, the sensational seventh grader, one of his actually quieter nights offensively, just 11 points, but had 8 steals in the game, so really a balanced attack and a big 20-point win for the Lions on Tuesday night, 61-41. So that sets up the big matchup Friday, Todd. I know people will say, well, it's nice they're going, but I don't want to hear that because we're going to win, and it's going to be difficult. But, again, it's still 32 minutes of basketball, even if it is against one of the top 5 teams in the state in University Heights Academy.
Well, University Heights, certainly a big challenge for anyone, but, you know, Lyon County has shown the ability to shoot the lights out at times, has a really good offensive team. I think this Lyon County team is really fun to watch, and I know Coach Jeff Embry is really excited about what this team can do. Its youth is going to be something that it maybe have to try to overcome to go up against a UHA team that is pretty experienced.
They really are. I mean, these 5 that UHA have been starting for quite some time. Kiki Tandy, of course, the Xavier commit, one of, if not the best player in the state, in my opinion. Finally, a senior. We will miss getting to see him put on shows night in, night out, but it is going to be nice to see him in Xavier's colors next year instead of UHA's. But, I mean, you got Drew McGowan. He's a senior, can just shoot the lights out from long range, shoots about 60% sometimes from the fields and about 50% from the three-point range. DJ Quarles, KJ Crump, they're both sophomores, but both playing a lot since the 8th grade, and I can't forget about the big fella Taquan Hollowell. He's finally a senior. When you come to the name Hollowell in Hopkinsville, you know you're going to have a tall, athletic type forward. So, yes, they are very experienced, but the main thing is with Lyon County is even though we're young, we have depth, whereas UHA has plenty of guys on the roster, but they play about 5, 6, 7 deep, whereas Lyon County, yeah, we're young right now, but this is only going to pay dividends as the years go along. You only have one guy back from last year that actually started as a senior in Gabe Board. Now Gabe DeFew has really stepped up into that role as a senior leader, as a forward. But then you got all these guys that were starting in middle school, freshman JV, that are now getting equal playing time. Of course, you got Travis Perry, the 7th grader, averaging 22 points a game. He's made almost 53s already, shoots about 80% from the free throw line. Then you got just a slew of great freshman and sophomore plays. And I don't want to leave anybody out. You got Trey Hawkins, you got Cade Blackburn, you got Gunnar Bingham, you got Nick Whalen, who's also another power forward that's really stepping up here as of late. Of course, you can't forget about Trace Adams. He's also a great senior leader, good emotional leader, as he's a senior. We only have 3 seniors on this squad, Todd. Really no juniors that play for the most part, so everybody else, sophomore, freshman, 8th graders, and 7th graders. Also had a couple of 7th graders here just added to the roster a couple of days ago, and Brady Shoulders, who's a younger brother of Jackson, and also added in Jack Reddick. But as we said, these young men are amazing to watch. Of course, I mentioned Jackson Shoulders as well. He's an amazing player, as he was the first 8th grader for Lyon County named to an all-region team last year, so starting as a freshman forward this year. So I know Lyon County's going to have to shoot the lights out again Friday to have a shot to stay with a very quick and athletic UHA team. But I think if they can hit them in the mouth early and hang on late, I think they got a legit shot to win that game and upset for UHA Friday night.
That's Friday night over at Dawson Springs, the 2nd Region All-A Classic semifinals, Lions and Blazers in that one. And Aaron, just looking ahead maybe a little bit, maybe a month or so to the end of the season. I know the 5th District Tournament and postseason play throughout Kentucky will be coming up, but the 5th District, I think, still holds a special place in the heart of Caldwell County fans. Caldwell County was moved over to the 7th District, well, I guess it's been 15 years now? But
almost 15 years now,
but, it's wow. Didn't realize it had been that long. I've been here a long time.
Time flies when you're having fun, Todd, I tell you.
But how do you see things shaping up in the 5th District this year? It looks like, once again, that it's wide open on both sides.
It really is, and I mean that literally, wide open on both sides, especially maybe more so on the boys. Livingston Central girls, they're still trying to revamp after losing Tabby Payton from a year ago, but look out. They finally got a first win the other night against Fort Campbell. We'll see how they'll play tomorrow night, or actually tonight. I better not forget that because I'm calling that game for my sister station, and that's Livingston Central against Crittenden County in the All-A's. That'll be a good kind of gauge mid-season to see how things are shaking up. For the boys, it's tight. There's no way around it. Right now, I would give Lyon County the edge, and that's not being biased whatsoever. That's just they right now are 4-0 in regular season district play. Therefore, you have to give them a little bit of the edge. But Crittenden County, as we said, got closer. That game was about a tie, a 5-point differential throughout the first 3 quarters in Eddyville a couple of weeks ago. The Livingston game for Lyon County, they only won that by 8 points. They're going to make up the second Livingston game of the year next week. Trigg County only played them once, only won by 5. So as we said, there's not a whole lot of differential there. And on the girls' side, it's way up in the air. You'll see that here this week with Crittenden and Livingston tonight. Crittenden just lost at home by 3 to Trigg. Trigg right now could control their own destiny if they could beat Lyon County, whereas Lyon County have lost by 3 and 4 to Crittenden. They've beaten Trigg twice already. One of those in the regular season, one of those in the CCA Lady Warrior Classic. Neither one of those by more than single digits. They play Trigg one more time, so they could go from Lyon could be all the way down to the 4 seed to up to the 1 seed if they could beat Trigg, and Crittenden somehow lose to Livingston, whereas if Trigg wins out, they could be the 1 seed. But if Trigg loses to us and Crittenden wins out, they're going to be the 1 seed. So that shows how close this is. And again, anybody can pull the upset, whereas Livingston girls haven't won a game in the district yet this year. They're getting better. And I go back to last year in the boys district tournament. Crittenden County only had 5 wins all regular season, didn't win a single district game. They go into the district tournament, hosting that tournament, pull the upset on a very good Livingston Central team that had good senior play from Seth Hosick and Cameron Dean and Dylan Shearer. Upset that team, who was without a doubt the best team in the district last year. Then Lyon County and Trigg County, they come down to the wire. Gayboard having to hit free throws with no time on the clock to win that game. Lyon plays Crittenden the next night. Lyon has a 10-point lead in the third. Crittenden comes storming back. Turley hits that layup late. The foul on board gets changed over to a charge from a block. The game's over. Crittenden gets a 1-point win and gets their first district title in 20 years. So there is so much parity on any given night. Some of these teams, like for example, Lyon County, the way they shoot, I think they can compete with anybody in the region. However, if they're off one night, they can lose to anybody in their district, and that's why it's going to be so much fun for the district tournament coming up at Livingston Central. That's why I kind of give the edge there to the Livingston Central Lady Cardinals. If they can figure it out, being on their home floor, they can beat any one of these 3 teams here in the district. In Trigg County, they're looking for their first region appearance in over a decade.
And we're just about a month away from the district tournament getting underway. Of course, the second region tournament after that, and you mentioned Lyon County is in that same boat on the guys' side with a lot of teams in the second region that, sure, UHA and Madisonville North Hopkins are probably the 2 front runners right now, but there are a lot of good teams in the second region in boys basketball this year, and that second region tournament is going to be really interesting.
It's going to be fun to watch. I believe that's over at Madisonville. Is that correct?
Yes, I think that's right.
They're going to be at Madisonville, so that would give, in my opinion, you give Madisonville the edge on that. I believe UHA has the most talented starting 5, but I believe Madisonville may have the best overall team. Between Kayshawn Casey and big 6'9" guys inside, Madisonville, I do believe those are the top 2 teams you can never count out. Christian County and Hopkinsville, of course, only 2 of the 3 from District 8 will make it, and that's just the way our bracket system works here, so that's a shame when normally those 3 teams are usually the 3 best teams in the region. And of course, a team from Hopkinsville has won the region every year since 2002, Madisonville being the last to win it outside of that district in 2001. But after that, you really get a kind of a log jam pretty much from 5th on down. Henderson County, I'd still give them a little bit of that edge there in that top 5 of the big schools, but from 6 on down to about 12, look out. Caldwell's really stepping up. And I know we're on the Caldwell State in Princeton. Caldwell County, I think that's a team that, in my opinion, with the right draw in the region tournament, they could make a big run. Darren Boyd, of course, unbelievable talent, near over 20 points a game. And Felix as well stepping up. Those are great, great kids at Caldwell County. I think they're going to do mighty well. They've got a good win against a good Callaway County team the other day, had a good run in the 2A tournament as well. Of course, Lyon, I believe, with our shooters, can hang with about anybody in the region. Webster County, always a great squad. Union County could always step up between Kel Gaither and their big guys. As we said, and for Lyon County being able to compete this year, we've done things this year that we haven't done in a long time. We beat Webster County for the first time in almost a decade. Won at Union County for the first time in a decade. So, like we said, anywhere from 5th on down, I believe, could be a log jam, and you're going to get 8 teams in that tournament, and you got to realize one of the Hoptown teams is not going to be there. So, I believe just look out with a right draw. One team could make a deep run, and for my sake, I hope it's my Lions. But of course, I believe Caldwell can make a good run, as could Webster County.
Well, as always, the draw is going to be the big thing, and if you get a situation where maybe University Heights and Madisonville get on one side of the draw, that might open it up for another team. And again, I think the second region, yes, UHA, Madisonville, 1-2, one way or another, but there's 8 or 9, maybe even 10 teams behind them that legitimately could go over to the regional tournament and maybe win a game or two.
Absolutely. I'm just looking at some of the scores from Lyon County and other teams from around the region. You're not seeing many blowouts. You're seeing games that range either single digits to no more than 10 to 15 points. And like we said, any team can get hot. Lyon County this year, without a doubt, their best shooting percentage in years. Over the past few years, they've been shooting 36, 37, maybe 40% from the field on most nights. Now they're shooting over 50% consistently on any given night. And the game of the three-point shot, it's went down from the pros to the college, and it's really getting into the high school ranks. That is the true isolating factor right there. If you can hit the threes and you can get the other team in foul trouble, you never know. Threes and frees is what I'm going to call it. You can hit your free throws and you can hit your threes on a consistent base on any given night and somehow control possession. Main thing is the guard play, the ball handling skills. You have a shot to beat anybody. And like I said, if UHA Madisonville can be on the other side, you're still going to get a Hoptown school on your side one way or the other. But I'd love to see like a Lyon, a Caldwell, and Webster all on the same side of the bracket. I think that'd be neat to see possibly one of those three teams go over to the region finals.
We are joined this morning by Aaron Clayton of WCBL Radio, WCCK Radio. He is the voice of the Lyon County Lions, and like a lot of people, he has many roles to perform at a ball game. Not only is he calling the ball game on the radio, but Aaron also does the starting lineups on the PA. And Aaron's one of the few people who says, "Please stand for the national anthem," and then sings the national anthem. How did that start, Aaron?
Well, I've always loved to sing. I've been singing in church since I was pretty much 2 years old. So I love to sing. I love gospel and country music especially. That's just kind of my forte, and that rolls right into some patriotic songs, with the national anthem being one. I've always, people just joked around and said, "Why don't you do the anthem sometime? You know, you got that deep voice. Don't you sing?" I said, "Oh, I sing on occasion." So anyway, Jeff Doom one time years ago at Lyon County anyway, it's probably been about 4 seasons ago or so, he said, "You get ready." He said, "Tonight we're going to have a big crowd." We had a cancer awareness night, so it was a big crowd. He said, "You're going to sing the anthem." So I sang the anthem that night, and now anytime the band is not there, I sing the anthem. Because we've known, not just because it's somebody want to hear my beautiful voice, sometimes technology does not seem to work, Todd, and people have issues getting the national anthem to play over their iPhone or their speakers or whatever, so I just sing it, and it kind of gives a different feel to it. I know the public address announcer at Hopkinsville is always saying the national anthem, and he does a fantastic job, so maybe we can get him and a few other guys start a barbershop quartet. I always thought that'd be nice. We can get that going of the PA announcers, and I've been able to do it, fortunately, a couple of times at Murray State with my public address announcing jobs at Murray State. When the band wasn't there and it was just a single game only, I said, "If all you're going to do is just play a computer," I said, "I'll sing it." They say okay, and I've not been booed or had tomatoes thrown at me yet, so I guess it's decent. So.
How do you work in the PA job at Murray State with doing all the high school basketball games on the radio?
Well, luckily I have a very good support staff here at WCBL and WCCK. We got guys that have helped me out on soccer, football, baseball, softball, as I do all those sports in Marshall County as well. They stepped in. They have helped me out when I can't. And luckily, I mean, the good Lord must want me to do it all, because there's only these last few years doing Murray State public address announcing for men's and women's basketball and doing Lyon County and Marshall County basketball. There's only been a few nights, really, each year, maybe about 4 or 5 games total, where there's been conflicts. And on those nights, people have stepped up and filled in for me doing radio work. I think guys like Jeremy Rose, and of course Jeff Waters. You've known Jeff for many years, and also want to thank guys like Caleb King and Jeff Parker and Eric Chumbler. They've all helped out me out over the years and filled in for me on a game or two to get Lyon County on the air, because that is my passion. I love Murray State and Lyon County. Those two right there mean a whole lot to me. I went to Murray State, of course. Lyon County's become my second home, essentially. Still live here in Murray, so every game is a road game for me, but I love Lyon County sports, and not blowing smoke, I wouldn't want to be anywhere else on any given night than doing those young men and women, because it was truly family, and those coaching staffs, they have treated me like their own and really have brought me in over the last near decade. So it's been a lot of fun, and working with guys like you. It's been amazing that the media there in Region 2 has really brought me in. Majority of those guys are now with Your Sports Edge, and guys like that, like you, Todd, and Scott Brown, and Tom Rogers, and all them, and I really appreciate everybody being real nice to me, and get to see my buddy Jeff Sis Friday night for UHA. And he told me he hadn't called a game at Dawson's in about 15 years, so we'll have fun together on Friday night and hope that we can maybe keep it close and spring the upset possibly.
Oh, absolutely. And you mentioned the Murray State gig. That has to be pretty sweet right now, too.
It is. It's a lot of fun to watch when they're winning, and right now receiving votes in the AP poll. You're going to mention Murray State. You got to mention John Morant, the sensational sophomore guard from Dozell, South Carolina. Right now, averaging 20 points a game, 8 assists a game, and 6 rebounds a game. He is an amazing talent. He is a once-in-a-lifetime generational type talent. I got to see him at summer warm-ups 2 years ago when he came in as a freshman. And I said, if we keep this guy more than 2 years, it's going to be amazing, because he truly just had the look of a pro, just the perfect body for an NBA-style point guard. Near 6'4", long, lanky, athletic, jump out of the gym talent, can slice and dice, can do things he makes look easy that no other human should be able to do, getting down the lane and getting to the rim, and such an unselfish player. People think, well, this kid, he's taking all the shots. No, he's not. That's why he's averaging 8 assists a game when he's got guys like Tevin Brown and Shat Buchanan to go to out on the wings. Tevin Brown tying the record for single game three-point made, 9 in the UT Martin game. That same night, John Morant set the single game assist record at 18 assists in a single game. This is a team that's only got 2 losses. Both losses were on the road in the SEC at Alabama and Auburn. Both games that Murray State led with single digits on the clock in the second half, and both got out of there with 5- and 4-point losses. Of course, Auburn, a legit Final Four contender. Alabama, I believe Avery Johnson's really getting that team built up. I believe they can compete for an SEC title, and that's it. If you look at KenPom ratings the rest of the year, Murray State's favored to win every game they play the rest of this year. By the majority of them, 10 points or more. The only games they expect to be close are the Belmont game and the Austin Peay and the Jacksonville State game. And if you're a Murray State fan, if you ever want to see them play, you better get your tickets now, but get out to see them next Thursday when they host Belmont. That has become the premier rival for Murray State, as them and Belmont have pretty much went back and forth on the regular season championships, for the most part, tournament titles ever since Belmont came in 2013. So that has been the big marquee matchup. It'll be nationally televised, and they're trying to bring in guys like Dick Vitale and Seth Davis to the game next Thursday. So I expect a big crowd down at the CFSB Center in Murray. But this is a team that's got once-in-a-lifetime talent. I didn't even mention the great forward play. You got 4 guys that can legitimately start any night at the 4 or 5 spot, and Breon Sanchez and Mike Davis and Darnell Court, and especially K.J. Williams. He's a freshman that's going to be one of the best big guys I think Murray's had in years. That's not even including the senior Anthony Smith, who went down with a broken ankle a couple of weeks ago and will get the medical redshirt this year and come back as a 5th-year senior next year. So the talent's there. You're going to lose a few guys this year, but I think Murray is set with Coach Matt McMahon for years to come, as long as we can keep it. And again, you go back to the draw. If you can win the OVC tournament and get into the NCAA, I think Murray, if they're ever going to make the Sweet 16, this could be the year.
They are certainly fun to watch, and everybody pulling for the Murray State Racers in the OVC tournament, of course. That's always an iffy gig, because it's tough to get more than one team in the NCAA tournament if you're the Ohio Valley Conference, and that puts a lot of pressure on those teams, especially if you have a Murray State that would be so much fun in the NCAA tournament. They just can't afford a slip-up in the OVC tourney.
They can, because there's never been more than one team in from the OVC tournament. I always wondered in 2012, when Murray had one loss, had they lost in the finals, would they have got in? Then I look at 2015, where we were ranked in the top 15 with Cam Payne, who's an NBA point guard now for the Cleveland Cavaliers, and we still didn't make it in. We got a high NIT bid berth and made it all the way to the Elite Eight of the NIT, and lost in a half-court shot at the buzzer at Old Dominion. Could have went to Madison Square Garden that year, and I truly believe that those Final Four teams in NIT could compete with about any team in the NCAA. It's just sometimes just a tough break down the stretch of getting into the NCAA tournament. But Murray State deserves it. They, in my opinion, are the best team, not only in this conference, but one of the best teams in the country from the top to bottom. I mean, this is a team that can go 8 deep, and I think any of these 8 can play for about any team in the country. And I see them night in, night out. They're good kids. They're unselfish. They love playing with one another, and they're just solid. I've never seen a team just so smooth and solid and fluid in my life since I've been around over the last 3 decades in Murray State. And they've had some great teams in the last 3 decades at Murray State, but I believe this team may be the best. That's why I say get them a good draw and just watch them go.
Changing gears just a little bit here, big news from the Kentucky High School Athletic Association yesterday. Big changes coming to the football playoffs, and Aaron, I think that kind of caught some of the state's football coaches off guard, but looks like we've got a new playoff format starting this fall.
Yeah, it is, and Todd, I mean, also you got other sports. They announced softball, baseball going to Lexington as well for the finals, and they're going to have sectional round games. I know they were also looking at tennis, but it's going to be an RPI seeding format now, I believe, for the KHSAA football, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct there?
For the third and fourth rounds, the first 2 rounds will be intra-district, so you'll play your own district teams as opposed to the cross-districting that we've been using. And I think a lot of coaches don't want to see those same teams again right off the bat in the playoffs. And the word I got from the coaches that I've kind of talked to a little bit is that the timing of the thing kind of shocked them, that they already had their schedule set, and now the KHSAA comes out with this, we're going to have a different playoff format, we're going to use the computer rankings, and I just don't think they were ready for it.
No, I don't believe they were, because a lot of these teams play their last district game sometimes the last week of the season. So you could possibly turn around and have to play them again the next week in the playoffs. Now, of course, in basketball, they're thinking, hey, get over it. We have a district tournament, and then we go into a region tournament, and you're going to play those same teams again. But it is difficult for football, and I know with traveling to begin with is already an issue trying to plan ahead for that. You've got a lot of smaller schools like a Fulton County or Fulton City having to go all the way over to Russellville sometimes Caverna now with a new districting, of course, for Caldwell County. For the local teams here, Caldwell County, of course, being one of the few, at least right now that we're talking about is Lyon. Livingston doesn't have a team, but you got Caldwell, you got Crittenden, Trigg, kind of in our listening area with the Hopkinsville schools and the Madisonville and Henderson schools. But I know, for example, that for Marshall County, for my sake, we're moving back up to the 6A here soon, and you'll have, of course, having to go to Owensboro, having to go to McCracken County, having to go to Henderson County once again, and that's a pretty good haul. Then you have to go right back the next week, and you don't really have a lot of time to prepare for those teams. Once again, they know you more than anything, so while you may have a fantastic team, you may have some of the top 2 teams in the state in the same district, and that's going to knock them out in the first couple of rounds. I understand that some of the rounds, these first couple of rounds, have been very lopsided here in the past by letting 4 teams from each district in. Well, in my opinion, if they were going, this is just Aaron Clayton's opinion, I believe that they should have just went down to 4 classes instead of 6, take the top 2 teams from each district, and that way you'd have a more competitive playoff, and I believe you wouldn't run into so much of an issue now having to do this cross-bracketing system and then go to the RPI seeding for the 3rd and 4th rounds. That's just me. I know in a way that they're trying to do that by eliminating 2 district teams essentially in the first 2 rounds by having you play your own district. But still, I think that would have probably been the better solution, but they don't call me up from KHSAA. So.
Yeah, they didn't ask me either, so I'm still a little hurt about that nobody thought about us. But, well, Aaron.
I mean, like I said, that's just my opinion, but each their own. We're going to have to get on with it, move on with it, and hey, if you just keep winning, that's all that matters. So.
Well, Aaron, I appreciate you coming on today. Glad we finally got you on the show, and definitely going to have you back sometime. And again, a big game coming up for Lyon County's guys Friday night. Good luck with that broadcast over at Dawson Springs against UHA.
Thanks a bunch, Todd. Appreciate you having me on.
That is Aaron Clayton. He calls the Lyon County games on WCCK Radio. He also works at WCBL, and as we mentioned, lots of other sports jobs for Aaron Clayton. Well, Roy Gene Rogers is in the house, and he will be in here very shortly on the Sideline Report. Stay with us here on 1580, 103.3 WPKY.
Here's your WPKY Weather Edge Weather Center forecast.
Showers are going to continue throughout the day with a high today of 47. Mostly cloudy overnight with an overnight low around 36. Mostly cloudy tomorrow with a high of 46. Rain after midnight tomorrow night with an overnight low around 41. Showers on Saturday with a high of 49. Rain, snow, and freezing rain will continue throughout the night Saturday night with an overnight low around 22. And Sunday will be mostly sunny with a high of 27. Again, that's showers today with a high of 47.
Your WPKY Weather Edge Weather Center forecast is brought to you by Bella Marie Boutique.
Get spruced up with quality mulch from Bashir Sawmill on Dawson Road in Princeton. We all know that buying mulch by the truckload saves money, and it's only $25 per load for dark natural mulch at Bashir Sawmill on Dawson Road, 1/2 mile past City County Park. Bashir Sawmill also buys standing timber and timberland. Give them a call today, 270-365-2330. That's Bashir Sawmill,
family owned and operated in Princeton for over 50 years.
Since 1978, Perry's Floors & More has been selling, installing, and servicing homeowners throughout Western Kentucky with quality flooring and workmanship. Perry's Floors & More carries luxury vinyl plank and luxury vinyl tile, carpet, window treatments, and more. Brands like Mannington, Shaw, Tarkett, Beaulieu, and Flexitech. Quality brands, excellent customer service, combined with 40 years experience is why they say you can walk on our reputation. See Bill and Lucy at Perry's Floors & More, 127 West Market Street, Princeton.
Welcome back to the Sideline Report on 1580, 103.3 WPKY. Before we go any further, I want to tell you about Dave's Deal of the Week at U-Ride in Princeton. It's a black 2014 Ford Fusion. It's a nice car and it's loaded. That's a black 2014 Ford Fusion, the Dave's Deal of the Week. Contact Dave at 270-365-3215, U-Ride 310 Marion Road in Princeton. Coming up tonight, Caldwell County basketball will be in action. The boys will be at Hopkins County Central. That is a makeup date that was missed last week when the Tigers were playing in the Kentucky 2A Championships. 7:30 is varsity tip-off time tonight. Be sure and join Dennis Stevens and Bob Hayes for all the action at 7:15 on 1580 and 103.3. Also live video tonight at WPKYonline.com. We will be streaming the game. Again, I'm not sure that game was on the original broadcast schedule, but it is now. It's a makeup date from last week. Caldwell County's boys at Hopkins County Central for a 7th District makeup game tonight. Stay with us. More on the Sideline Report right after this.
Here's your WPKY Weather Edge Weather Center forecast.
Showers are going to continue throughout the day with a high today of 47. Mostly cloudy overnight with an overnight low around 36. Mostly cloudy tomorrow with a high of 46. Rain after midnight tomorrow night with an overnight low around 41. Showers on Saturday with a high of 49. Rain, snow, and freezing rain will continue throughout the night Saturday night with an overnight low around 22. And Sunday will be mostly sunny with a high of 27. Again, that's showers today with a high of 47.
Your WPKY Weather Edge Weather Center forecast is brought to you by Cozy Living Interiors.
Hello, this is Gloria Smith with the Law Office of Jeff Russo. Are you buying or selling real estate? Are you planning on refinancing your existing home loan? If so, you should be aware that you have your choice in which attorney provides the legal services associated with such transactions. Our law office has over 50 years of experience in real estate law. We pride ourselves on being cost-effective and having a quick turnaround time. If you're in need of such services, call us today at 365-2763 or find us on the web at www.jeffrussolaw.com. We are located in downtown Princeton on the east side of the courthouse.
This is an advertisement.
The Sideline Report continues on 1580, 103.3 WPKY. This is Todd Griffin of YourSportsEdge.com, and glad now to welcome Roy Jean Rogers into the studio here on West Main Street. Roy Jean, how's it going?
Going great. Thank you, Todd.
I want to mention the Winterfest Jamboree coming up this weekend. Give us a little more information about that.
Right. This is our second year to host the Winterfest Jamboree. We will have 8 teams coming in, Kentucky and Illinois. We will have 4 Tier 1 teams and 4 Tier 2 teams. Your Tier 1 teams are, those athletes are pretty good. They play by Kentucky High School Athletic Association rules. They can foul out. They're called for double dribbling, walking, everything that applies to high school athletes. Our Tier 2, a little bit less, as far as knowing the fundamentals. We try to teach all of our players, all of our athletes to dribble, and they do. But you run into some teams, like we have a Hopkins County team coming in, very young players. So, they're not oriented yet to dribble. So you have a distinction between your Tier 1 and your Tier 2 teams.
So you'll have basketball action pretty much going on all day Saturday at the middle school.
We start at 9 o'clock in the morning, and last game is scheduled for 4 o'clock that afternoon. We play 4 6-minute quarters, running clock except for the last minute of halftime, or a half, the second quarter, and the last minute of the final quarter, fourth quarter. So it's pretty good. It's fast action, and we may, depending on what the weather's doing or looks like, if they move this forecast up for colder weather start moving in, we may play 10-minute halves. We've done that in the past.
How did you get into coaching the Special Olympics basketball team?
Our Special Olympics program has been going on for 5 years. Vicki Purcell and others established the program. 4 years ago, Allison Seymour was helping with the Special Olympics program. She contacted me, wanted to know if I would have an interest in coaching Special Olympics basketball, and of course, if it has anything to do with basketball, I've got an interest. Yeah. So I went. We had our first practice, and I was hooked. Been doing it ever since.
Well, you have a lengthy history of coaching basketball. How did you get into just coaching originally, and how long have you been at it?
When Harry Bird was hired as the head basketball coach here at Caldwell County, William Fralick was the assistant. I was fortunate enough to be hired to work with the middle school and the freshman program. Chick Walker, George Kukahiko, that's back when we had to drive a bus from here in town to Fredonia to practice. And
I did some of those.
Yes, you did. But, and that was good. Being in it, I think I coached either freshman, JV, or middle school for 27 years here. We established a program called Sporting Chance Incorporated. Stan Hudson, Chad Pepper, Steve Ort, Charles Sivils. It's just a group there that we took our children, and we started traveling. And so we did that, and then when I retired from teaching, I had a team here. These boys graduated last year. They all turned to baseball instead of, the basketball program, and we went to Paducah and played, and I was hired to work at the Sportsplex down there for 3 years, so we had a lot of teams there.
You mentioned some of those bus rides to Fredonia to practice, and one of the things I remember about those bus rides is the bus didn't always make it.
No. I can remember several times. I mean, we're not talking about 1 or 2 times, but that the bus, we might be walking there to Crider or someplace like that, and have to have another bus come pick us up. But yes.
Yeah, those were fun times, though.
Oh, they were. It was. Now we talk about teams out of the Sportsplex. Darren played, Tripp, and Caden, and then you go down to Fredonia or to Lyon County. Travis Perry started out, and then his dad took a team, and they went on with it. Cade Cunningham out of Madisonville. Cade's dad bought him and Noah, his older brother, who's now playing college. He would drive on a Sunday afternoon and bring them down, and then games. So, there were some good players that came out of the Sportsplex.
Well, I think anytime you look, and Caldwell County's had a good basketball team on the high school level, it's because it has those kids that played all those games, whatever kind of travel ball or whatever it was.
I talked to David Brown last week, or maybe it was this week, but I had some concerns. Some parents stopped me after Special Olympics practice last Thursday, and they have some concerns about Youth Incorporated. But you're right. I go back to that team, that we came within just a few points of making it to the finals, but those boys played together for, 10 years. I'll share this story with you. When we left to play our first game, we went to Hopkinsville to play the Hopkinsville Wolfpack. We were at the old Hopkinsville Addicts, or over on Walnut Street, I believe, and we didn't get the ball across half court the first half because they went 1-3-1. Well, we'd never seen a 1-3-1 playing Youth Incorporated, and so we decided after that where your weaknesses are is what you got to work on. So we started playing a 1-3-1.
Okay.
And of course that carried over into their senior year. Michael Fralick did a fantastic job, preparing those boys. So yes, you gotta. You were talking about depth a while ago.
Yeah.
And you have some marquee players from UHA and Madisonville and the other schools. But, if you've got the depth, you can compete with those teams. So that's where we got to go. I say we got to go. That is my emphasis, that you have a program that teaches the fundamentals and teaches the players to enjoy the game of basketball, and then you'll have the numbers.
Well, one thing I was going to ask you, and you've coached for a while, what are some of the changes you've seen in basketball? Do you still kind of coach the same way you always coached?
Yes. I mean, fundamentals, I think you can ask most of the players. Here a while back, I had Zach Bloodworth, his wife, put a post on showing him coaching, and I just sent a post back. I said, ask him what the key things are to basketball. Well, it was, bounce passes, get through, fake high, go low. You got to be able to dribble with both hands. You've got to be able to make a layup with your weak hand as well as your strong hand. You got to see the floor. I mean, you're dribbling up the floor with your head down, counting the cracks in the floor. Well, you can't see if your teammate's up there ahead of you. So fundamentals, yes, I emphasize. And again, go back to our Special Olympics team. We have an 11-year-old this year that first year he's played, he would slap the ball when we first started. We've worked with him, Jeff Wynn, Lisa Martin. We have a lot of people that come out, volunteers to help us, and now he's learned to dribble. So to me, those are the fundamental things you got to have.
We were at a ball game not too long ago, and teams just don't seem to do some of the things that we used to do back in the day, which I know it was a while. But one thing I said was, what happened to stop the ball? I heard stop the ball so much when I was growing up and being coached, or people were trying to coach me. That I was almost sick of it, but it was true. I mean, the first thing you have to do on defense is stop the ball.
If you attend a game Saturday, you'll hear me yelling, stop the ball. And even, I go back to our Youth Incorporated and on up. If you're going to play somebody, make sure that you make them dribble with their weak hand.
Right.
And if you can do that, then you're okay. But I think right now, I see some of the games or hear some of them. Like I said, I don't drive much at night. We was talking off air. I keep up with you on Facebook. I listen to Dennis and Bob as much as I can. But it seems like maybe we've watched too much NBA, and we want to do a lot of individual things on the court instead of being a team-oriented player.
It just seems to me like the game has changed a little bit, where there's more contact now than there used to be. They let you take an extra step here or there. Yeah. So I wondered if that kind of affected the way you coach a team.
I saw your post here the other night where you said when you were playing that they called such things.
Yes.
And now it's
all
changed.
The time.
Right. And it has some of that. You go back to the officiating that let things like that go. I mean, I've watched some high school games in the last 2 or 3 years. They carry the ball. I mean, you got your hand underneath it, and you turn it over. Well, if I want to me, that's almost like football. I give it to my running back and let him just run down the floor with it. But to me, your skills, you should be able to keep your hand on top of the ball instead of taking it underneath and just flipping it over. So I don't. I emphasize to even my Special Olympics athletes, we're out there. We work on dribbling exercises every day during practice, shooting, using the backboard. All of those things to me are still important, and I think you take away some of these teams, if you were to take away the individual talent, I mean, I'm talking about you take away 2 or 3 players from a team that just have that extraordinary talent, then what have you got? You got to teach those fundamentals.
With the Caldwell County Special Olympics team, how often do you guys practice, and how many games will you play over the course of a season?
We practice 1 day a week. We practice on Thursday. We'll be there today. One of our Youth Incorporated teams will be coming in to kind of help us out today. We will play probably 12 games. We went to the Marshall County tournament, was our first outing, and it's a tournament. It's one where it's double elimination.
Okay.
So that's the difference. Like in a jamboree, what we will do is we'll let everyone play, 10-minute halves or whatever, but we practice close to 2 hours on a Thursday, and we'll play 12 games. We'll go to Bowling Green for the regional tournament, a little bit different setup. From Lyon County back to Fulton is what they call the first region, and then from here we go all the way to Bowling Green, Warren County for the second region. So we got some stiff competition when we go there, and then if we're the runner-up or the winners in the regional tournament, we get to go to Louisville, compete in the state tournament. 36 teams will be competing, but in different classes. So,
and the team had a really good year last year.
Yes, we did. We were successful in the region, went to the state tournament, and we lost in the semifinals to the team that won. We lost by 6 points, and that team went on. They won the state tournament.
Again, this Saturday, the Winterfest Jamboree coming up at the Caldwell County Middle School Gym. If you would just once again go through the teams that are in that.
Right.
And
we have, of course, our Caldwell County Tigers. We have one team from Trigg County. They'll be playing in the Tier 2. We have a team from Christian County, Tier 1. We have 2 teams from Hopkins County, Tier 1 and Tier 2. Marshall County, Tier 1 and Tier 2, and then we have a team coming out of Illinois, Cairo. They're Tier 1. I watched them play at the Marshall County tournament, and those guys, I mean, your Tier 1 teams can actually, they can play some high school teams, some decent games. So be there if you want to see some sportsmanship. It's great just to come watch and come support those special athletes.
Action beginning about 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock,
at the middle school.
And we'll be starting games about every 6 minutes after the finish of the, say, the 9 o'clock game. If it was to finish at 9:30, we've got a 6-minute break, and then we'll start. So
okay.
The times that we posted, I sent to you, are not necessarily set in stone, but we will be starting about 6 minutes after the last or the game before that.
Again, that's the Winterfest Jamboree coming up Saturday at the middle school gym for the Caldwell County Special Olympics basketball team, and a lot of other basketball teams
Yes.
will be here in town.
Yes.
Anything else to add on
No,
that?
thank you very much for having us this morning.
Roy Jen, I appreciate you coming by the studio and being on the show this morning, and we'll have to get you in again sometime and talk some Fredonia basketball and
Yes.
some old school basketball.
Yeah, old school basketball. If we'd had the 3-point shot back when I was a senior, we would have probably won the region. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
But we'll do that one of these days.
Okay, that'd be great.
Thank you. That's Roy Gene Rogers, the head coach of the Caldwell County Special Olympics basketball team. Again, the Winterfest Jamboree coming up Saturday beginning at 9 a.m. at the middle school gym. Don't forget tonight, Caldwell County's boys will play at Hopkins County Central. That's a 7th District makeup date. Varsity action about 7:30. Dennis Stevens and Bob Hayes will be on the air about 7:15 on 1580 and 103.3, and there will be a live video stream of the game tonight at WPKYonline.com. That's going to wrap up our Sideline Report for this Thursday. This is Todd Griffin. Thanks for listening on 1580 and 103.3 WPKY.
Serving Caldwell County since 1950. We're 1580, 103.3 WPKY Princeton.
ABC News, I'm Elizabeth Herr. The partial government shutdown and the fight over border wall money is now into day 27, and it is casting doubts over the State of the Union address. Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi raising questions about security. ABC's Mary Bruce.
She says that the Secret Service and the Department of Homeland Security have been hamstrung by furloughs, but the department is disputing that. The secretary says they stand, quote, fully prepared to support and secure the State of the Union.
This morning at a meeting of the Board of Trustees at Michigan State University.
As chairperson of the Board of Trustees, I move that the Board of Trustees of Michigan State University hereby accepts John M. Engler's resignation.
And they have accelerated his resignation, taking effect today. Engler stepping down after saying last week that he believed some of the victims of convicted sex abuser Larry Nassar were enjoying their moment in the spotlight. This is ABC News. Chevrolet has now pulled the plug on an ad campaign.
Hey guys. You've probably seen the television ad. Ford, Honda, and Toyota owners standing in front of 4 cars, all with tarps on them. The owners asked about reliability.
Very reliable.
Well, actually, it's not Ford.
What? Eventually, when all the tarps are pulled away, Chevy is revealed as the most reliable.
Oh my God, it's Chevy.
But auto-focused media website Jalopnik reported the survey Chevy used for the commercial was flawed. Fewer than 6% of recipients actually responded to the reliability survey. Upon the news and a challenge from Honda, Chevy says it has pulled the ad from its rotation. Ryan Burrow, ABC News.
A report from the Federal Reserve says student debt is linked to a nearly 10% drop in home ownership among younger Americans. It's also linked to more and more people leaving rural areas. Charges in Sweden for a man accused of stealing more than $7 million worth of Swedish crown jewels still missing. I'm Elizabeth Herr, ABC News.
Ever wonder why Europeans seem to speak so many languages? Maybe it's because they use Babbel, the #1 selling language learning app in Europe. Babbel's award-winning technology gets you speaking right away, whether you're learning Spanish, French, or German. And best of all, you'll remember what you've learned.
I always thought I was bad at languages, but after using Babbel, I can tell you I was just taught the wrong way.
Using Babbel's 10 to 15-minute lessons, you can be speaking confidently in your new language within weeks.
I was amazed that I could start having real-life conversations right away. It was so fast. Now I'm speaking Spanish. Woohoo!
No wonder Babbel is the #1 selling language learning app in Europe. Try it for yourself and see why Babbel is the quick way to get conversational in a new language, like Spanish, French, or more. You can try Babbel for free. Go to Babbel.com or download the app and try it for free. That's Babbel, Babbel.com, or download the app to try it for free. That's Babbel.com.
Here's your WPKY Weather Edge Weather Center forecast.
Showers are going to continue throughout the day with a high today of 47. Mostly cloudy overnight with an overnight low around 36. Mostly cloudy tomorrow with a high of 46. Rain after midnight tomorrow night with an overnight low around 41. Showers on Saturday with a high of 49. Rain, snow, and freezing rain will continue throughout the night Saturday night with an overnight low around 22. And Sunday will be mostly sunny with a high of 27. Again, that's showers today with a high of 47.
Your WPKY Weather Edge Weather Center forecast is brought to you by Black Patch Grill.
Have you been a victim of debit or credit card fraud? Farmers Bank and Trust can help lessen your risk of getting taken advantage of. As our customer, you have exclusive access